Good afternoon, I'm Mr. Ish. Thank you for watching this video. We're looking here at standard form quadratic equation. This right here is an example of a quadratic equation, ax squared plus bx plus c. In that form, we have to convert it into a standard form. You know the standard form looks something like this. F of x is equal to a into x minus h whole square plus k. Because this standard form helps you identify the vertex which is involved with regards to that parabola which will develop. It can also help you in terms of the transformations, translations, all of that which may come into the picture for this particular quadratic equation we have. How could you go about converting this into this? Well, you know the technique is basically completing the square technique, and you can start with that. You would isolate a 2 over here and you'll have x squared plus x over 2. You would have to open this up and end up right over here is equal to 1. I'm just pushing 1 onto the other side. You would complete the square. You'd have a 2 here, you'd have a x squared plus x. You can do a 4 over here for right now plus a 1 over 16, and that's what you're getting is equal to this 1 over 16 would multiply with this 2. You'll have a 1 over 8, but it'll come on the other side as just 1 over 8. When you complete the square over here, you know the procedure. You're getting here x plus 1 over 4 whole square is equal to, you have to do this. Common denominator 1 plus 1, 1 over 8, all of that. You'll have 8 plus 1, which is a 9 over 8. Bring the 9 over 8 onto the other side, you'll have 2, and you'll have x plus 1 over 4 whole square minus 9 over 8 is equal to 0. This can represent the standard form. You can, however, write it like this: x minus 1 over 4 whole square minus 9 over 8 equals 0, and this will give you the vertex. The vertex over here is going to be minus 1 over 4 comma minus 9 over 8, and you're seeing that you have a shift towards the left and a shift down. If you were to graph it, you can do a graph. I can just erase this over here for you and do the graph. The graph can be nothing more than just an approximation. If you do the graph, you have this as your vertex, minus 1 over 4 minus 9 over 8. We're looking at everything here in the third quadrant. Imagine these are your ones. Minus 1 over 4 will be right here in terms of x value. Minus 9 over 8 will be slightly higher than that. It will be a vertex right over here. If you were to zero out all of this, you'd have a y-intercept of 0 comma minus 1, and that would be right over here. You could have a graph which would look something like this. We're not focusing here on the x-intercepts, but here's your graph. This line of axis would be x is equal to minus 1 over 4, and you're seeing it. You have a y-intercept here of 0 comma minus 1, and the graph is made. The quadratic equation in terms of a parabola has been graphed, and here's a standard equation for you right over here. The 2 over here represents that it's vertically stretched by a factor of 2, vertical stretching, and then you of course recognize the horizontal and the vertical translation which comes into play, and this question has been completed for you. We can let this be our second question. We have minus x squared minus x over 5 and convert this into the standard form. You know the standard form is this: a x minus h whole square plus k. It's not hard, but we will do it. Isolate the minus and bring it out. You're looking at x squared plus x over 5. Now you have to complete the square utilizing this. You'll have x squared plus x over 10, and then you'll square this. You'll have 1 over 100 is equal to this. 1 over 100 will multiply with this, and it'll come on the other side exactly as it should, minus 1 over 100. You can complete the square right here. You're looking at a minus. You have a x plus 1 over 10 whole square. This comes back 1 over 100. And you know what this is? This right here is your answer in your final form. You can, if you want, convert it like this: x minus 1 over 10 whole square plus 1 over 100 is equal to 0, because now you can see your vertex. H comma k, it's minus 1 over 10 comma 1 over 100. That's exactly what it is. There's a negative over here, which means it's going to be reflected down. It's going to be a parabola which will be pointing downwards. It will have a peak, a highest point, the maximum, all of that. But let's do the graph of this. We're seeing a graph of this develop, and it shouldn't be too hard. The only difficult part here is to represent it well, because you're looking here at such small numbers. We can just look at everything here in terms of 0.1s. This is 0.1, 0.1, minus 0.1, minus 0.1. We have a vertex here, and everything here falls in the second quadrant. Minus 1 over 10, then 1 over 100. It'll be right over here. The point is right over here. If you were to zero out everything right over here, you can get a y-intercept in terms of a value. It's 0 comma 0 origin. you'll have a graph which will look something like this, and it will be something like this. You have a line of symmetry or line of axis. You can say x is equal to minus 1 over 10. That's exactly what it is. You have 0 comma 0 y-intercept right over here, which is the origin. This right here should be an easy point to figure out. You would technically have to zero out the y and solve for the x. You can, or you can just think about symmetry around here. From this point, which is minus 0.1, you're going in this direction to 0. That's a difference here of minus 0.1. Then you should have a different, that's a difference here of a 0.1. Then you should have a difference here of a 0.12. From here to here it's 0.1, from here to here it's 0.1. So then you know just by that simple point, this should be minus 0.2 comma 0. And that would be your x-intercept. 0 comma 0 and minus 0.2 comma 0, or you can be uniform and write this as 2 over 10, minus 2 over 10 comma 0. That right there will tell you everything. You could have, however, zeroed the y value and then solve for this. You would isolate and then you'd solve for that x. You'd have two values, one of which would be 0 and the other one would be minus 0.2 or minus 2 over 10. But this question has been done for you, it's graphed, and it should be all good, and there it is. And that's it for this particular video. Have a great day. Thank you for watching.